Hey, Gail, Cheshire. Have y'all got a micron pen and a book you can work along with me? That's what we're going to do today, Gail. Good. That sounds great. Well, as I've said, these are Shannon Green style um, doodles. And y'all will be glad. Hey, Jean. Y'all will be proud of me. I've got my stand with my iPad right here. You can't see it. And I put my iPhone, leaned it up against. So see if I can get this a little bit closer for me. It's all about me, right? Okay. I've got some little things to talk about. Oh, and this. And these can just stay there. Not going to bother anything. I have a glass pen somewhere. Of course, y'all will not be surprised that I can't find it. I am so ready to get this back. There. Get this back where it needs to be. Okay, so I can come down a little bit lower. And that will be about it. Because of the iPad. That'll work. Let me move this down just a little. Finally going to get the part for my stand. I've got two arms. They're sending me a another 4-inch one. See about that. Cords. Jean, I know you're proud to get your living room redone. It looked pretty cool. I mean, you know, I used to keep my house. I know y'all won't believe this, but I used to keep my house where the Junior League or the Daughters of the American Revolution could drop in anytime for lunch. Not that I was a member of either of those, but everything was dusted every week. It didn't matter how big the house was. And I just decided it's more important to me to have my painting and my artwork and all that around me at hand than that. So there you have it. And that's exactly the way it is. Yeah, well, I wish I had a cleaner who would get me in order. Of course, it's hard for somebody else to do that for you because you're the only one that knows what you're using and what you're not. Even I don't know what I'm using and what I'm not. And I watched Cece, Creations by Cece. I'm in her Patreon. I'm still trying to get that square. I guess that's probably good enough. Anyway, she just completely tore up her studio and redid it. And I'm so impressed with her, but she got rid of a lot of her craft stuff. And I just finished collecting a lot of craft stuff. So I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to get rid of my little Cricut Cuttlebug and my Xyron glue machine and my hole puncher. And, I don't want to get rid of all that stuff just because at the moment I may not be doing that much mixed media. Yeah, I guess that's the problem. I don't know where I want things to go. 4 o'clock. Do you know where your viewers are? All right. I got some little things to show you that I'm so proud of. Janet's not here, but she reminded me how much I loved this little tool back when I was doing graphics. I always had one of these in my hand for about 20 years. And mine even had tooth marks on the end where I'd stick it in my mouth to have both hands free. This is it's a roller ball. The ball moves in this little socket. And it was, what we used it for was to rub letters off of acetate for cross-stitch charts, counted cross-stitch charts. So it works beautifully today if you've got some rub-on tissue with a pattern on it. And then this side is the burnisher. Okay, so you've got everything you need right there in one little handy thing. And it's got a spring inside it. And you tighten the spring by twisting this. Of course, I took it apart last night. I hope I got it back in the right order. I don't think I remembered this spring thing because I probably never used it. And my little handle was a little bit more flexible, but look, I got one. And I got it on eBay brand new for $13. So I am thrilled with that little baby. Put it right there. Place of honor. Hey, Joan. I don't know what it's called. It's made by, I should know that, Alvin, maybe? But it is a great tool. I love it. Janet is the one that turned me onto it. Cool. Thanks for letting everybody know I'm Barb. I didn't get a chance to go over there. Hey, Joan. Yeah, she does, because that's who reminded me. I think it's made by Alvin. And they still make them. I think they retail for around $20, $25. I promise I'm going to try to look at chat more today. Okay, and here's another little, remember me telling you that I had lost my little wireless earbud? Just accidentally hit it and it fell out here in the studio, which is the worst place for anything to fall out. Well, I found it when I was doing my 2-hour cleanup the other day. And the reason it fell out was because the little earbud thingy wasn't quite big enough. And of course, we lost the sack that had the little replacements. Of course, unless you're a horse. So I read something online that said if you take these little earpieces, like you use if somebody snores, and cut it in half, and then poke a hole in it and pop that over this part. You take the little rubber thingy off, and you're left with a post that's about an eighth, on these anyway, about an eighth of an inch. It took me 30 minutes to get this on yesterday, to get the hole punched and everything, but it works because it's a little bit deflated right now, and in a few minutes it'll puff back up, and it really works well. So I may see if I can get a prettier one. Hey, Jilly, you said hi, Gail, and I thought you said egad or gad. But anyway, it still fits in my little charger. Isn't that cool? I wish I had a place to put these where I don't lose them. She says. And if I put them, hey, y'all remind me, I'm going to put them in these little drawers right here beside me. Put that right in the front of that little 6-inch drawer. Maybe I'll remember it. Okay, something else I'm going to show you. Last week's debacle, if you'll remember, who could forget that? I was playing around with watercolor. These were watercolor and brusho. So we determined that that was a pretty good thing. And the watercolor face on the other side, I could not get it to work. So yesterday I played with one in gouache. Gouache does work on Duralar. Don't even ask me why I've got this obsession with Duralar all of a sudden. I worked from light to dark, and when the gouache dried, it's still too dark. So that's something for another day. I would guess I've only, maybe finished a third of it. Her nose isn't done, and the blue from here is showing through from the back. So if I wanted to, I could come back in here and erase some of that because it's watercolor. And the same thing with it on this side. I could show it on this side. And this is the right side for the watercolor background. I could erase this in the middle, maybe some of that, and then let her face show through some of that blue. So whatever I decide I want to keep working on. Yeah, that's blue, that's watercolor. So gouache works. Any questions on that? Have I caught everybody yet? Let me see if I can find that tool while we wait just a few more minutes. There it is. Chart Pack. Darn, I should have known that. Chart Pack is the one that used to make the acetate images with the acetates with the letters that you rub off. So Chart Pack. It's called an adjustable burnisher. Let me put that in the chat. And they still make them. Okay, cool. Sarai? Yeah, this is great for stencils. In fact, I think some of the stencil places like Stencil Girl may use just the next size heavier. Well, I got the Duralar because of the alcohol ink. And then I read that the Duralar is the student quality, that drafting film is the artist quality. So, you know, there you go. All right, get that out of the way. I did that yesterday. You know, when you have a day like I had last Friday, it kind of mucks you up a little bit, you know, because you're kind of used to finding things just when you want them and being able to do something just when you want to, and then you hit a roadblock and it's like, ah. And I'm trying to keep my desktop fairly clear so in case Kimberly drops in. Yeah, that would be why it wasn't coming up under Alvin. The reason Alvin popped in my mind is my drafting lamp that it's a clamp that fits on the table on one of those long arms. It's adjustable every way you want it. It has a fluorescent bulb and an incandescent bulb, a circle fluorescent, and then a regular light bulb screw in. What that does is it gives you a warm and cool balance on your light. Well, the switch had burned out on it, so Mr. Randy got a hold of Alvin and they sent 2 switches. So I was thrilled about that. Now I can get that light working again. I've had one of those for 30 years, I guess. So, you know, after the fire, I replaced things I thought I couldn't live without, and that was one of them. All right, I'm looking. Okay. I don't know why I thought about this, but it was partly because Friday didn't turn out so happy. So, come on now. I'm just trying to get it. Okay, so everybody, you know, kind of talks about doodling and Zentangles and all that. And I tried Zentangle. In fact, I've got one right here. It's a Zentangle. I don't know. It's just cardstock. I tried it. I tried following the steps, and you know, if you've got more than 2 steps to do something, I'm not going to do it. You know, I'm done. I'm out of here. I can do repetitive stuff over and over and over, but if I have to think about it a lot, I won't do it. And some of these Zentangles are really difficult. I mean, you've got 4 or 5 steps. Okay, so I've tried it. Jean, be sure you look on for used ones now that you know what you're looking for, because I wasn't going to pay $20 or $30 either. Or maybe Janet has one she'll send you. Yeah, they're those cards are hard to hold on to. So anyway, it's I had to push the button when I come back, put myself on live. When I saw Shannon Green's doodles, I thought I can do that because it's mindless. You will see a few Zentangle type designs in mine, but you're not going to see any that require looking at a formula to do them. Hey, Vaughn. Yeah, that's where I got mine, Jean. I mean, some of them are simple and some of them are a little more complex. But like Shannon says, she only draws 3 or 4 shapes. So she's got a video on her doodling. Hers are precision perfect. She even has paint mixed to match the color of the paper in case she goofs. I don't do that. Mine are sloppy compared to hers. And then you know, y'all are getting to know me, I hope. Oh, well, if I could do that, I wonder if I can do this. So I did watercolor backgrounds and then found things to tangle, found areas that I could trace around and tangle. Pull that up so you can see it a little better. And naturally, I find a face anytime I do something like that. So for a while, I was doing a couple hours every night. This, here's another one of the watercolors. There's a face in here too, I think. No, maybe not this one. This looks like some brusho in here. And I also use Tattered Angels. This just a spray. This is Bister and Tattered Angels. Bister is another brusho-like thing, but it has walnut crystals in it. Sometimes you just feel like coloring things in black. This one's just wild out there. Probably would have been better to do the whole thing in white, but we're not doing anything here except wasting some time. Okay, well, never mind. We're not wasting time. It's good for us to have something to do. And here's one of my little faces. And if I get a splash, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter a bit. This is done with the Elegant Writer by Schaefer, I think it is. They're real inexpensive. You get them at any office supply store. But when you get them wet, especially the black one, you put your line down and then just very carefully wet close to the border, and you get this purplish greenish cast. So that's cool. That's enough to make you think you've had, I don't know, some mushrooms or something. Here's another face. Did a few of the droppy downy things. I did a few gems just to practice, and these were student quality colors because I hadn't gotten my big ones yet. Here's another face. This one you can just keep working on it or you can quit. So these are just some things I did. Another face. Some more of the Elegant Writer. A micron in sepia. Some are very complex, but they're really not when I show you how to do your strings. Here's another gem. This is pretty. So I picked out a couple of gems too that we could take a look at. I love this page. This is Purple Rain. I forgot his name. Jesus. I can't believe that. Anyway, I was real proud of the way that one turned out. I like that whole page, as a matter of fact. This kind of looks like some of the 60s, 70s artwork. And if you get bored with the page, you just start on another one. Here's some with, that might be a micron. I'm not sure. They come in 4 or 5 colors. Oops, I missed a page. This little book. Oh my God, that's all. I got a lot left. This is the Mixed Media Visual Journal by Strathmore. The 5x6 one, I think. 5.5 by 8. And it's a great size to hold in your hand and work at the same time. Any questions? Prince, yeah, thanks. Hey, Branson. Simon? I don't know you, Simon. I don't think. Okay, are you ready? Let's just work on a page that isn't finished. Shannon blocks hers out with a pencil first, which is entirely, there's no rules. Okay, everybody ready? Now you're staring at a blank page. The first thing you want to do is cut that blank page down into smaller sections. Okay, so it doesn't matter what you do. So I'm just going to go like that. And in the Zentangle world, they call that a string. So now if I want to come back, let's say I want to make this a double line. This really is easier to do in pencil first because you want to decide which is over and which is under. So that one's over. And let's see. How did I do that? Don't need that one. That's another reason why it's good. Okay. Well, I had already started. I think I'm better when I do it on the fly. Okay, so this is coming up. Yeah. Okay. Doesn't matter if it's thick or thin. Okay, so we were over here. So I'm going to bring it under on this one. So that means I'm going to make that one go all the way through. And this one, I did it again. This one's under, so that means this one's going. Now, there are people who will fuss and fidget with this, making their lines perfect, and it just doesn't matter for this type of doodling. Except must be seeing double vision or something today. I just use a plain old micron. And the first thing I'm going to do is come in. Let me see if I have any questions. Simon and I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 Central Standard Time. I hope it does too. Mine is still, I'm looking at it on my iPhone, so I'm seeing it from the same stream y'all are. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is ink this one. Your hand is going to wobble and wiggle, and your lines are going to wobble and wiggle, and it's okay. This is for sheer relaxation. Let's see if my glasses off or better. One reason I don't like pencil lines is that then you got to worry about if you're going to erase them or not. So I've successfully cut this into some smaller pieces. Now, in Shannon's video, she'll tell you that she only has 4 or 5 shapes. A circle, a square, a triangle, and maybe a blob. I don't know what they are, but that's basically what we're doing here. You're just going to go back around, and anything that's crooked, you're just going to make that part a little bit fatter. I'm having trouble seeing. Let me see if that helps. Trifocals are hard to... That's one reason why I quit doing these, because I had trouble getting comfortable with it in my chair. And like Shannon says, how do you know where to go thick and thin? Yeah, just wherever you see something that you want to fix. And I can't see this good enough to get it solid black. Some people use different thicknesses of pens, especially if you're going to color in a large spot. You might want to use a bigger point. But I learned everything I know about doodling from Shannon, and then just kind of added my flair every once in a while. There's really never anything on TV worth holding your whole attention. And at the very least, this is something you can do between commercials. Try to take my hand off of it. Can you see what I'm doing now? Welcome, Simon. I forgot to say that. I picked up that. The other thing I did with these was that I scanned each one of them. And then, because I'm a Photoshop wizard, put them in Photoshop, and I took them down where you could just, I lightened them till you could just barely see the outline or the artwork. If I'd have been thinking, I would have gotten one ready for you. And then I brought it up to about 50%, and then I brought it up to about 75%, so that you could print that. Those are my printables. And if you wanted to just color over the top of mine, you could. Or if you wanted a little more challenge, you could do the lightest one and have a little more flexibility in what you do. And I can put the link there if y'all are interested. See, I got way off right there. You don't have to worry about what color you're going to mix. You don't have to worry about cleaning your brush. Now, the Zentangle, when you come to a line that crosses, recommends that you just round that corner off just a little. In addition to having trouble with my painting demo the other day, my camera was pointing at my lap. So for about 45 minutes, everybody kept yelling at me to fix the camera. And I was so absorbed in trying to do what I wanted to do that I missed it. So those things happen. And now I'm going to look. Bye, Simon. You always catch it on replay. Does anybody have any questions yet about this? And you saw how much trouble I had there with the overlapping under and over stuff. So the pencil really does help there, because it'll throw you if you're trying to do it live. I mean, just with the black off the bat. I started to see if Shannon wanted to, live stream with me today, but she's so busy. Now that it's spring, we'll be able to go to Rosemary Morris, because we all live within an hour and a half of each other, and Rosemary has a super fabulous studio. It's a freestanding, what they call a shotgun house, where you go in the front door and you're in the living room, and then the next room behind that is the kitchen, the next room, but so it's just one room wide and 4 rooms deep. That's her studio, and it's all done in bright colors, and it's fun. All right, any questions? I don't know the difference, Jean. It could be Teflon. It's awfully stiff. It feels like, it kind of feels like this may be real bone, though. Of course, you can't tell as much paint's on it. Do they say in the description on the new one? This would work, though, for burnishing or bone folding. The only thing that would be the narrowness of it along this curve, where with a bone folder you can get a wider area to burnish on. I think I've heard that before about the plastic one making your paper shiny. Why is that? Why does that do that over an oil, over a bone? And then how do you tell the difference? Hey, Scotty. Hope you're feeling better now that the weather's turned off a little bit warmer. Scotty comes down to Rosemary's too. There's about 4 or 5 of us. And there's no agenda. We just each bring something we want to work on. And if you get into the zone, that's good. You don't have to carry on a conversation if you don't want to. I can go an hour or two without saying a word. Depends on what I'm doing. So I've got my little travel to Rosemary's house in a little tote bag that has some duplicates of everything. So I can just grab it and go. But Rosemary's like the rest of us. She has more than she'll ever possibly use. All right, well, I think we're just about through. I don't remember if I went. Yeah, I did do the outside. I sure did. To here. And again, don't worry if you make a goof. If your pen slips or and as you go back around and do your fill-ins and stuff, you'll see little areas that you want to improve. Hey, Linda. All right, now I like the checkerboard stuff, and I'm not going to do this one all the way through. I'm just going to do it so we can save time for the gym. I'm making a curved end on it so I can come back in and color this in. And that curved concave shape adds to the three-dimensionality of this ribbon. Poppy's outside and doing fertilizer on the lawn, and puppies are in here. They're not happy. So I'm just going to do these. Doesn't matter if they're even. I'm just filling every other one. God, I'd forgotten how much I like this. Okay, so number one, we drew just a string. Well, y'all saw me do it. It's just, you just don't think about it. You just make a circle, or you mark it off in squares or geometric triangles, or and then you go back and fill in your shapes. Okay, any questions? Well, use a bigger, Scotty, use a bigger pen. And then your fine details can be bigger. I understand, though. Mine trimmer too if I've had too much vodka. Now and then, I mean, these can be any size you want, of course. I mean, you can make them little bitty. You can make some bigger. Bigger ones you can come back in the white space and you can put little line patterns in. Yeah, don't lose your marbles, Jean. That looks really great too, by the way. Okay, so far no formulas, right? I really did try hard to master Zentangles, but it just wasn't in my brain. I mean, the whole point is relax. I sit in my chair and have a deck of Zentangle cards. I mean, there's only so much stuff you can do holding it in your lap. And I did order microns from AliExpress that were less expensive and they worked fine. You know, all this stuff is made in China to begin with, or most of it is. And yeah, some of it may be knockoff, but most of what I've gotten has been real name brand. If you're worried about it because you're ordering from China, just get a credit card specially for those kind of orders and then don't worry about it. And thanks to Jean, I have gotten some good things on Wish. These came off Wish. I think they were, I don't know, $30, and then Brandy got a set of the ones that are the Apple iPod AirPod knockoff. Those are knockoff because you can. There's a little difference, but they work great. He got those for $5. This one in Bose, a friend of mine got one almost identical for Christmas, almost $200. Now I'm not gonna spend money on $200 if I'm gonna knock the damn thing out of my ear and lose it. But it sure is nice to have it. You don't get all tangled up in your microphone cord. And I haven't had any trouble getting it to link up with my iPad and my iPhone, and it determines which one I'm looking at. I should have at least let Shannon know I was doing this today. Of course, I imagine she saw the promotion and me talking about it. Girl is so creative. So if there's anybody in the world that doesn't follow Shannon Green, you need to. The custom keeper she designed is awesome. I've got 4 or 5 of them, and I use them when I think about it to keep my painted papers in. What I did right there was pretended I knew where that one was going to end. Totally not necessary. Big one, because the space is wider, right? This is also something I can do with a puppy in my lap, because that's their favorite thing to do at night when the TV's on. What part, Scotty? Like, oh, I'm sorry. Well, I did this in the beginning. These are wireless earbuds, and the plastic thing wasn't big enough to hold them in real good. So I lost one for a couple weeks in here. And somebody said if you take those, just those expanding foam earplugs and cut them in half, that they'll really make a difference. They fit tighter in your ear. Wireless earbuds. I can be listening to one of y'all on a YouTube video and just get up and walk into another room and it still receives it. I mean, it's not going to go very far, but it's better than having to carry your phone and the cables and all that into the kitchen to get a drink of water and end up dropping it all. I'm trying to hurry up or not go into a Zen state here. Making my 4th finger go to sleep. Gail, do you do much of this? My phone turned off. All right. My phone went to sleep. I only wear one at a time. I wear my right one. And that way I can hear the TV and, because there's never anything rarely anything you want to catch every breath. Same thing with YouTube videos. You can multitask. So I just wear the right one and then I can do a little bit of both. Okay, so there's that part of that string. I'm going to leave these open because they might be good places for the gem that we're going to do. Now, the other way, like I said, there are no rules. I'm just going to separate this. Okay, now I can come in with circles. Now I can either color the background or color the circles. I think I'm going to color the background. Baby girl's crying for her poppy. And her mommy's got the door closed. I'd let her in here, but she loves to chew paper. She's just a year old, so she's still in training. And she loves toilet paper. So if she goes in the bathroom when Randy's taking his shower, he'll still come out and there'll be toilet paper all the way into the front door. She thinks it's fun to just grab it and take off. They sure are a lot of company. But if it were just me, I don't think I could take care of them. Schnauzers need a lot of exercise. Randy walked 7 miles this morning with them. Then he'll take them out again tonight, walk another mile or so. Now, if you want to separate your lines, just draw a second line of separate your sections, I should say. I'm going to have to look back. It's been so long since I've done anything. Well, I just did that upside down, didn't I? Well, that works. You were going to look for a pattern. Don't forget what you're doing. Just going to fill this in with lines. And you can come in with these and you can, every other line, you can draw a line, stripe it, except that was my dividing line. I knew I would do that. So I'm going to put another one. I want that one to be empty. There. Oh, gal. I had that a couple years ago, and my blood rate, my heartbeat was over 250 for 2 hours, I think it was. So there's an app on my phone that I use. It's a heart rate monitor. And you just hold your finger over the lens, and it will verify, yes, you're racing. So I had to start taking a pretty good sized dose of metropolol. I'm not saying it right, but now if I have a little bit of a glimmer of that, it knocks it right out. I need another idea. Some of these are a little bit Zentangly. Let's do circles. Yeah, I'm such a goose. I didn't want the babies to get all upset because strange men were coming in the house to save me. So I told them, I said, I'll meet you by the mailbox. And I locked the door, and they were okay with that. But I said, it's not an emergency, so don't do your lights. I could have been laying out there dying. Don't let anybody know. I don't want to disturb anybody. I keep getting my... Well, hell, cutting out caffeine will make you have the shakes. Usually you have to ease yourself off of it. Okay, so maybe gemstone. What time is it? 5? All right, we're halfway. This is the right way. Any questions? All right, before we came on, I looked at a few gems for reference. And I just, when I do a gurgle, when I gurgle, I just look for something that strikes my fancy and has variation of color and some highlights that make it interesting when you finish it. So there's that one. That one I love. I picked up a alert on from my iPad. And that one's pretty. I've never done a red one before, and that one's pretty. Let's do this one. What do you say? Or why don't y'all say? Which one do you want? Okay, do y'all have a favorite on the gems? The blue one? The red one? The turquoise one? Or the sapphire? The sapphire one fits my space better. Let's go for that. And now that means I need to open it somewhere that it's not going to move around on me. So I go to my Etcher Mirror. This app is wonderful. If I could find the mirror part of my Etcher Mirror, I'd be even happier. Let's see, and I'm going... That's about... I want it bigger than that so I can see it. Put the lid. I wish these lids stayed on on the back end. There it is. Yeah, they don't. What do they call that? Piggyback or something like that. Lock it. Now the thing that's so beautiful about this is it doesn't move. I'm going to see if y'all can see it and I can see it. We've got some royal blue. We've got some dark purple. And remember, I've got my colored pencils assorted by value, so the darkest darks. So I can just come through here and pick out anything that's that tone in several different values. I think I'm gonna call that done. Okay. Yeah. Sapphire, that's the one I got, Gail. See, when my iPad's not up here, I can actually hook my phone in. See how good I did. I'll start here. Let's see. I'll mark my halfway point. That right in there, and then come up just a hair where this point is, and that goes to there from halfway, and halfway down is this area. You see what I'm doing? See what I'm doing there? Halfway, and then I did this point from halfway, which is here. Just kind of trying to map myself. Do it so y'all can see. So I'm going to do this shape first. It goes how about putting it right in that corner? Doesn't matter because I can go over it with the pen, but and then we've got the halfway mark. We've got one that comes up about like that. Down. Down. Now I'm not going to go too far. I just want to get my main shapes on here. Yeah, here's my little lecture. Any kind of painting. It's about the light. Okay, without the light, there is no form. And you'd just be looking at a shape that was filled in with blue. But it's the light that's making these things pop. So you've got to be real cognizant of the light. So I'm going to begin with the lightest light. And I shouldn't have ever done that. Let me see if I can erase part of this. I don't remember if I did pencil drawing first on those others or not. Okay, then we've got one here. Then we've got one down here. This is the lightest color now. And this is what's going to make it pop. So now I'm going to come back in. I kind of got a greenish. I need a different greenish. Almost got it. I must be nuts to do this in front of y'all. Mm-hmm. Good enough for who it's for. Okay. What do we got going on now? Bye, Branson. Okay. So I'm going to do my greenish one. It's this area right here. I don't want you, Siri. Get your glasses going. So some kind of a cut on this, I'll tell you. Did I tell y'all our oldest grandson is a certified gemologist now? He says, Mimi, I'll make you whatever you want. Yeah, well, you got to come up with some money first. Okay, now I'm going to do just a little bit of contrast right here. See, I'm already taking shortcuts. You got to watch me. It should be a lighter greenish color. Some of that royal purple. I'm just going to jump around. That's kind of the way I do. This is my darkest blue. Sorry, I'm not saying anything. I was going in kind of timidly at first. It'll take me a minute to hit my stride. And you know we're not going to duplicate this exactly because I'm not really trying to. Okay, check in. He was a kid that, well, he was 4 when he came into our family. At 5 and 6, he was taking Randy around the jewelry store, fine jewelry store in Denver, and walking into a store and telling the guy behind the counter that he wanted to see a certain watch. And the guy looked at Randy, and Randy said, he's driving this train. So the cool jeweler went into the safe and brought out this whatever watch that Tyler was looking at and talked to him just like he was an adult. It was really cool. And so now he's a gemologist. That's cool too. I wonder why I couldn't have picked out a harder one. Well, we all know the answer to that one. I don't know what kind of a cut this is. No wonder I liked it so much. He says, yeah, Mimi, I'll make you whatever you want. And I'm going to start just kind of filling some things in, pretending that I'm where I want to be. I've got to finish something or you guys are going to think that I'm fake. Dot, dot, dot. She pays somebody to come in and do that stuff for her. If I were really doing this for hyper realism, I would have traced it. If I don't watch myself, I will become photorealistic. Which I really don't want to be. I mean, if you're going to be that realistic, just frame a photo and put it on the wall. Nothing wrong with it. It's just a technical thing, I guess, instead of an emotional thing. What does the artist see, kind of thing. don't know if I'm going to be able to make this look like a gem or not. This is the blending tool that comes with the Polychromos, I think. I need to redo the darks. Because if light is the answer, you can only go so light. So you've got to, at some point, pump up the darks. Anything you do in art is that way. Without the light, there is nothing else. I'm going to get my Prismacolor white and see if I can And I think to make it look more like a gem, I'm going to come back in with this purple and see if I can glaze. Stay away from your white areas. And because we need more white, right now I know it's in here. There it is. It's the one with the chewed up end, the Faber Castell. Because the first day I got it, I did that. Damn it, I did it again. I had to put a pokey tool down in there because the felt tip kept. This isn't this isn't one of those that you poke down and get. So if you do that, you're going to push the felt back down into the. I don't like it, but let's flip over and do that. Do that pink one because it's a round red one. No, not that one. This one. Okay, what y'all talking about? Hi, Norma or Branson. I already said that. No, it's really not easy, and I'm kind of wish I hadn't done that because these others that I've done are all round. They don't have a bunch of facets. See, makes it much easier. So let's do this one here, and we'll just make that be round. I got my blue pencils, so we're in good shape there. I don't necessarily need the blue greens. Okay, I'm going to start out with my next lightest. I'm going to work from dark to light. I mean light to dark. And I'm going to sketch in that white star first. Hope y'all enjoy seeing all my mess ups. All right. First thing I'm going to do is lay down my next to lightest color. See, I lost my place already. I used to love star sapphires. I'm going to come back with the next, maybe this one. What I'm doing is teaching you guys that it's okay to experiment and fail. And that's something I also have to remind myself of. And because I don't want to lose that, I'm just going to kind of remind myself it's there. All right, now let's get this darker color, which is what makes the brownness. I don't think that one's even supposed to be there. And that's the one I put the white on. Now that blue around the edge has a little bit of a purplish cast. So I'm just going to come back in with the purple, and rather than go look for another pencil, I'm going to put this purple right around the edge. And now we've got, see, that one's coming down there. We're going to fudge. See, it doesn't matter if you fudge. It doesn't make it right or wronger. Do 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 do. I really did do these other ones, you know. I'm going to do a little bit of acetone on this one, see what happens. This is the Prismacolor blender. What this is doing is dissolving the binder in the pencil. Looks like a spider. Really need some lighter. I kind of got heavy-handed with the dark. Did I put my white away? The only thing that's going to make that pop more is some more dark. I said I was going to make it brown, didn't I? Oh, well. That one's better than this one. This Pit pen does kind of tend to soak into the paper. All right, see what y'all are doing. Hey, Beth. Yeah, we're trying to doodle. Or I'm trying to doodle. The gem on the screen is a little greener than what I've got, but you know, hey, they match, right? Let's see how this looks with, not as good. This one turned out really good. Let's try this one. Much darker. Like I said, you can only go so light. Oh, it's supposed to turn since I have the lock on. I'm using this white as a little bit of burnishing. Drink of water. Okay, now let's put this out of the way. What would I do now? On my micron. Oh, I put it up. How fancy that. That's not it. That's not it. I just put it up and now it's gone, gone, gone. That looks like a dead micron. See, don't ever put anything up. Let's see, pick another. I've got a little more time, but not much. We're just about done. Just drawing squiggly lines that are different. And because that space is so small, instead of filling in that whole thing, I'm going to just make every other line thicker. Well, no, this side of every line. And that means I'm making every line thicker. Duh. But if done correctly, this can kind of look like a tribal pattern. Okay, now did y'all learn anything you didn't already know about doodling the easy way? Except that was just a goofer right there, but we're not going to worry about that either, are we? If you want to, okay, let me see what you're saying. Yeah, Gail, I'm going to have to go too. Anybody wants to stay with me just a few more minutes? I like to do just a freehand scribble. Around the edge. And if you want to make some more elements, fill that in just a little bit more. You just keep making shapes, and that's how you get some of these things like this. Okay, Beth. What about Elegant Rider? Have y'all seen that? This is Speedball, not Schaefer. Speedball. And it's got a little chisel tip on it. And I'm just going to outline. My glasses keep going in and out of focus. It's weird. It's actually my eyes going in and out of focus. But may decide I want to do some around the big one, but for right this minute, we're not gonna. Find the brush. Just that squash water. It's probably going next to solid. Now I'm just going to touch that lightly with water and blend it out. Or you can get it wet outside and then touch it. It'll blend all by itself that way. And this makes a real pretty grayish blue. And sometimes you'll get a red or a turquoise. So that's the Elegant Writer. Isn't that cool? It's been so long since I've used it. I don't think it is after it dries, because I think you can always reconstitute it. Let's go back over here at some of these and look. Okay, here's one that's been done. We know it's good and dry, and I think it's probably gonna, yeah. So it's not permanent. Well, we figured that out real easy. Always helps if you think about it just a little bit, Vic, before you jump in. Not the best line in the whole world. Come on, wet behind it. And I'm picking up pink from my dirty water. Cece taught a class on this that was fun. Creations by Cece. I want to say it's on Facebook. I'm not sure. But she goes into a whole lot more detail about what it will do. We're going to have a pink halo. I can fill that in. I can do whatever I want to. It's a pretty color, though. It's kind of a blue-green. And I think if I remember right, it's when you blot it that you get the red colors. I don't remember. Kind of turns purpley reddy. That's a technical term. So anyway, this is a Cheap Joe's Lizard's Lick, and it's natural fiber, and it's got the belly of the brush is like a normal round, and then right in the middle it's got these longer hairs. So which means it will hold a lot of water in the belly, and then you can draw thin lines. Okay, they're really inexpensive. In fact, they were so inexpensive I got several sizes. Can you see that good enough with dirty water? Go small down up. Oh, thanks, Peg. I love yours too. But y'all are on earlier than I get up. Okay, so that is the Cheap Joe's Lizard's Lick. I have another Cheap Joe's up here. And this one is called the Loose Goose. It's modeled more after professional sign painters you're used to. They have, I mean, their brushes were $200-300 to paint straight lines with. See how fuzzy that is? That's the mark of a natural hair brush. See what it does when it's wet? So this one is the whole belly is a brown brush with the long in the middle. This one has hairs that are chopped along one side. And this one is really a nice brush for if you painted nature and landscape stuff. And there's a million different marks you can make with it. And it was not expensive either. Isn't that fun? Yeah, so Cheap Joe's, and this is their brand. This one's called the Loose Goose, and the other one is the Lizard's Lick. And they're just specialty brushes, you know, but they're fun. Well, something went wrong on mine. Let me see if I retap it. Now it came back. Okay, anybody else's questions? Did you learn anything today you did not know about doodling? That's not too shabby for what it is. And that's what we did today. I was going to try one more thing. Who is willing to give me 5 more minutes? Just 5 more. I wanted to see what happens with distress oxides. I mean, I know they won't move a whole lot, and that may be why they won't work. I wanted to see if this would give us some good edges. Put it on, spray it. It is moving a little. Of course, this is mixed media paper too. Dirty brush. Never hurt anybody. Well, what I'm looking for are some interesting segments that form. Like I did over here with the watercolor. Nah. Or with a colored background, just following the lines that the different colors make. And I think it's going to be kind of interesting. So we'll leave this here and let it dry natural. Thanks, Jilly. When you do stuff on demand, it's sometimes it's harder than it is when you're just doing it on your own. So I wanted to just give you guys an idea of what can happen. Pin this down. Now, we'll just leave that alone. But I already see some neat areas that you could trace around. So I think that works. All right. Any questions about doodling or? Yeah, Peg, I did one the other day that was a complete and total bust. I got so flustered. Joycey says, take a deep breath and get out your idea journal. That'll work fine. Thank God it was right here beside me. So I was able to recoup part of my dignity. This is what I did on the. Oh, I did this one on the spur. I mean, just grabbing what I could get my hands on. And then after y'all left, I worked on this. Remember the painting I had so much trouble with that day? I cut it up. So, anything else? Anything? You're welcome. I will see you guys back here. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. This is what I played with yesterday. I had so much trouble with the one I was trying to do. I came back on this one on Duralar. This is where I started, was with watercolor backgrounds on Duralar. And then I got the bright idea that I could do a face on them. Well, watercolor didn't work. I was going to just wipe out the parts that I wanted white. This is gouache, and it does work on the Duralar. It still turns way dark when I put it on. So the advantage is, I'll just use this. If you get a spot that's too dark, now the part with blue under it is going to be dark. But if I mistake something, I can just wipe it off and come back and do it over. So that's a good thing. I mean, that would be a good practice. It goes back to nothing. So we're all learning together. That's why art captivates my ADHD, is because no two things ever turn out the same. Love you, Peg. Peg and I have been doing this online thing now for what, about 5 years? Long time. Long time. All right. Over and out. I will see you guys on Thursday. Bye.